Welcome to Global Fusion Yoga, Episode 2, brought to you from the beaches of Bali, Indonesia. My name is Mary-Patton, and I'll be leading you through today's 40-minute vinyasa flow, which is filmed on one of Bali's beautiful southern beaches. Surfers come from around the world to take advantage of Bali's world-class surf, and also to enjoy the fresh seafood brought in daily by local fishermen. Indonesia has the world's largest Muslim population, but Bali is predominantly Hindu, which is evident in the many temples that dot the coastline, surrounded by beaches filled with soccer players and sunbathers. I guess this is why Bali is known as the Island of 1,000 Temples. Bali is located at the meeting point between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, with beautiful waters ideal for snorkeling and seaweed farming. At low tide, farmers gather the day's harvest, keeping the ripe seaweed for market and returning the younger roots back to the water. Many of the islands around Bali remain uninhabited, with steep cliffs facing the dark blue swells of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This unique ecosystem makes for some of the best scuba diving, with the main attraction being the enormous manta ray. These manta rays, which can have wingspans of up to 23 feet, come from the open sea to the cliff faces of Bali to feed on plankton in the nutrient-rich waters, and are largely unbothered by your presence as they go about their business. Even if you don't catch manta season, there's plenty of other sea life to witness, such as sea turtles, which can get a little bit curious, banded sea snakes, and maybe some animals you don't quite see at first. The giant coral formations, in and of themselves, are quite spectacular to behold. At the end of a long day of diving, it's time to hop on the boat and head back to the beach for sunset, which is a perfect time of day to practice some yoga. So come and join me on the beaches of Bali for today's class. Let's start in a standing position, feet touching, hands at heart center. Exhale, pressing the hands down. Inhale them to the side, flipping the palms up overhead to reach high. And then exhale the arms back down. Again, pressing the hands down. Exhale, inhaling the arms up, reaching nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do this 3 more times. Exhale, inhaling the arms up, waking up our shoulder joints, getting nice and tall here. Exhale, press the hands down. Inhale, flipping the palms up, reaching high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pressing through on the exhale. Last time, inhale, chest is lifted. And exhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, forward fold, bringing the hands to the mat, letting the spine grow long, and letting the head hang. You can nod your head yes, and shake it no. Inhale to a flat back, and then slowly walk the hands forward and the feet back to come to a high plank. Holding here, feeling the strength in your core. And then slowly release, knees, chest, and chin, dropping onto your belly. Inhale to a high cobra, really using your back muscles here to lift you up, so not much weight here in the hands. Exhale, curling the toes under to press back into child's pose. Letting the arms grow nice and long, sinking your hips back onto your heels, feeling the opening here. And then inhale, walking the hands back. Knees come to touch. Hands resting on the thighs. We'll do a few side stretches. So dropping the right hand outside of the right hip, lifting the left arm high. Exhale, dropping it to the right side, feeling the lengthening along the left side body. And then inhale back to the center, releasing the left hand on the mat outside of your left hip, reaching the right arm high. Exhale, reaching to the left side, feeling the lengthening from your right hip all the way to your right fingers. And then back to the center. Warming up the neck muscles here, right ear to right shoulder. And dropping chest to chin, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, right ear to right shoulder. And repeating this at your own pace, slowly and surely. Taking care not to jerk around the neck muscles here. Being mindful of our breath. And then back to the center. Folding forward, dropping the chest onto the thighs, either taking reverse prayer with the arms behind the back or grabbing opposite elbows. And exhale, folding forward, breathing into this shoulder opener. Either stay here or you can lift the hips off the heels, coming onto the crown of your head, clasping opposite hands to open up the shoulders a little bit deeper here, but not putting much pressure on the neck. And then exhale, releasing back onto the heels. Walking the hands forward into a tabletop position, curling the toes under and pressing back, downward facing dog. Deep breath here, inhale. Exhale, walking it out here, dropping the heels down towards the mat, one at a time, pedaling your downward dog. You can come up on the toes, putting a little bit more weight on your hands, feeling how that changes your downward dog position. Inhale the right foot high. We'll start our sun salutation, stepping the right foot forward in between the hands, pausing in our low lunge. And stepping the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, coming up to a straight spine, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circling the sun, chest is lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Neck grows long. Inhale to a straight spine. Exhale, planting the hands and stepping the right foot back. Pausing in the low lunge. Exhale, stepping the left foot back, downward facing dog. And taking the opposite side, lifting the left foot high. Exhale, stepping it forward in between the hands, pausing here in your low lunge. Stepping the right foot forward, coming into forward fold. Inhale, coming up to a straight spine, chest is lifted. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, sweeping the arms through, forward fold. Inhale to a flat spine. Planting the hands and stepping the left foot back, pausing in your low lunge, feeling the stretch in that left hip flexor. And then exhale, stepping the right foot back, downward facing dog. Deep breath here. Inhale, exhale. Now taking a full vinyasa, looking towards the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat spine. Exhale, forward fold, chest reaches for the thighs. Inhale, coming up to standing, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweeping the arms high. Exhale, tracing the arms through heart center, forward fold. Inhale to a flat spine, chest is lifted. Exhale, planting the hands, hop or step back to a high plank. And exhale, full chaturanga. Holding here, feeling the strength in your arms. In our yogi push-up, inhale to an upward facing dog. And exhale, curling the toes under, lifting and pressing back, downward facing dog. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Again, looking towards the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat spine, chest is lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching high overhead, chest is lifted. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweeping the arms high. And a little bit of a back bend here, feeling the belly grow long. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chest is lifted, flat back. Exhale, planting the hands, hop or step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, rolling forward to an upward facing dog. Thighs are strong and lifted off the mat. Exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more breath here. Inhale, exhale. And then inhale, lifting the right foot high. Exhale, stepping it in between the hands. To drop the left knee down into a low lunge. Inhale, lifting the chest and the arms overhead. And exhale, placing the hands on the mat. Stepping back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot high. Exhale, stepping it in between the wrists, dropping the right knee down. To inhale up, chest is lifted, arms reach high overhead. And then exhale, let it go, stepping the left foot back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lifting to an upward facing dog. Exhale, curling the toes under, downward facing dog. Deep breath here. Looking to the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the hands high overhead to come into Utkatasana, chair pose. Sinking low onto our heels. Making sure that the weight is in the heels here. If you look down, you can just see the toes peeking in front of the knees. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, planting the hands to hop or step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On the next inhale, lifting the right foot high. Exhale, stepping it into the wrists, dropping the left knee down, lifting the chest and the arms overhead. Exhale, placing the hands to step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, chest is lifted in our upward facing dog. Exhale, pulling back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left foot high. Exhale, stepping it in between the wrists, dropping that right knee down. Inhale, the chest high, arms overhead, feeling that stretch in our right hip flexor. Exhale, placing the hands on the mat, stepping back to our high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Looking to the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Sweeping the fingertips along the mat. Inhale up, Utkatasana, chair pose. With each inhale, lifting the chest, spine grows long. With each exhale, sinking a little bit lower into our chair. Thighs and knees pressed firmly together. And then exhale, let it go, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, planting the hands to hop or step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, rolling forward into our upward facing dog. Exhale, curling the toes under, downward facing dog. A few deep breaths here to catch our breath. So make sure in our downward facing dog that our fingers are spread wide and weight is evenly distributed from the fingertips to the palms, so that you're not leaving all the weight on the wrists, on the base of the palms. On your next inhale, lifting the right foot high, and then bending that right knee to open up your downward facing dog. And then exhale, stepping the right foot in between the wrists. Dropping that back foot to inhale up, warrior one on the right side. Hips are squared to the front of the mat. That front knee forms a 90-degree angle. Chest is lifted. And then exhale, releasing the hands down to the mat, stepping back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling the left foot high. And then bending the left knee. You can just see those toes peeking through your right armpit. And then stepping the left foot forward in between the wrists, dropping the back foot to inhale up, warrior one on the left side. Strong and fierce in our warrior one, shoulders dropping away from the ears. And then exhale, releasing the hands down to the mat, stepping back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, rolling forward to our upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. Looking to the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Sweeping the arms overhead, coming into an Utkatasana chair pose. And bringing the hands to heart center, slowly release the hips down to the mat, transitioning into Navasana, boat pose. Lifting the legs up off the mat, chest is lifted. And then releasing the back onto the mat, rolling into plow pose. Legs come overhead. And then in one fluid motion, stepping up, keeping the feet on the mat, to come back into Utkatasana chair pose. It's one nice rolling movement. And then back into mountain pose. Inhale, the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, planting the hands. To hop or step to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. One last breath here. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale the right foot high, stepping it through between the wrists, dropping the back foot. Inhale up, warrior one on the right side. And then exhale, releasing the hands down to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left foot high. Exhale, bringing it in between the wrists, dropping the back foot 45 degrees. Inhale up, warrior one on the left side. And then exhale, releasing the hands back down to the mat, step back to a high plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking to the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. And then trying this move again, dropping the hips down to the mat, coming into Navasana boat pose, lifting the feet off the mat, trying to straighten those legs if possible. And then exhale, rolling onto the back, legs overhead in plow pose. And then one fluid motion, rolling back up, planting the feet on the mat to come into Utkatasana chair pose. It's okay if you lose your balance a little bit here. And then inhale back to standing, hands at heart center. Inhale, the hands high. Exhale, tracing through heart center, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, planting the hands. Hop or step to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. A few breaths here. One more breath here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale the right foot high, stepping it in between the wrists. To inhale up, warrior one on the right side. And then exhale, open it up to warrior two. So make sure that that right knee is directly over the right foot. Inhale, straighten the front leg, and bring the right hand up overhead for a deep stretch along the right side body. Exhale, sinking back into your warrior two. With that knee still bent, inhale, flipping the right palm up, reaching back again, deep stretch, reversing your warrior. And then exhale, coming into extended side angle, bringing the right elbow to the right knee, left hand reaches high. For a deeper stretch, you can place the right hand just inside of the right foot. And if a bind is in your practice, you can reach around with the left hand around the back. Holding here. And then inhale, coming back up to your warrior two. Once again, flipping the front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right hand overhead. From here, we'll transition into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So beginning to shift your weight onto that right foot, bringing the right hand down to the earth, left foot comes up off the mat. So imagine that you're pushing the earth away with that right foot and that right hand. And then exhale, slowly dropping the left foot back into your warrior two. Exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. And exhale back to your downward facing dog. Inhaling the left foot high. Exhale, stepping it in between your hands. Inhaling up, warrior one on the left side. Exhale, opening it up, warrior two. Straightening that front leg. Inhale, lifting the left hand overhead, reversing your triangle. And then exhale, sinking back into your warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle, bringing the left elbow to the left knee. And taking whichever modification is in your practice, you can drop the left hand to the inside of the left foot or take the bind, holding your variation here. And slowly releasing, inhale up, warrior two. Flipping the left palm up, inhale the left hand overhead, reversing your warrior, getting nice and long on the left side body. And coming back to warrior two, to come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, stepping the right foot in to bring your weight onto the left foot, planting the left hand on the earth to reach the right hand and the right foot high, making sure that right shoulder is pulling back to keep your chest open so it's not facing down towards the earth, but rather out to the side. Right hip is stacked on top of the left. And then exhale, gently dropping the right foot back to your warrior two. Exhale, windmill the arms down, placing the hands on the mat to step back to your high plank. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up to your up dog. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right foot high. Exhale, stepping it in between the wrists. Inhaling up, warrior one. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. And then straighten that right knee, walking the left foot in a little bit if you need to come into Trikonasana, triangle pose, reaching forward with that right hand. And then exhaling it down to the shin. Right hand rests lightly on the right shin, left hand reaches up. So make sure that your left shoulder is really pulling back here. We don't want the chest facing down towards the earth. Getting a nice stretch along the left side torso. And then inhaling it back up, bringing the hands to the hips, stepping the left foot in to square the hips to the front of the mat. Inhale the left hand high, and exhale, folding down, bringing the left hand to the outside of the right foot for twisted triangle. Once again, the right shoulder is pulling back for a nice open chest. And slowly releasing the hands down to the mat, step the right foot back, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to your up dog, and exhale, lifting and pulling back, downward facing dog. And taking the other side, inhale the left foot high, exhale, stepping it in between the wrists, coming up, warrior one, and then exhale, open it up, warrior two. Straightening that left leg, bringing the right foot in to take Trikonasana, triangle pose on the left side, extending that left hand forward and then dropping it down to the left shin. Right hand reaches high. Pulling the right shoulder back for an open chest. Inhaling, back up to a straight spine, squaring the hips to the front of the mat. That right foot comes in at a 45-degree angle. Inhale the right hand high, reaching forward, dropping the right hand outside of the left foot, and inhaling the left foot high, twisted triangle. Left shoulder pulling back for a nice spinal twist here in this pose. Keeping the back nice and straight. Exhale, release that left hand back down to the mat. Step the left foot back and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting and pushing back, downward facing dog. Quite a few chaturangas in our practice today. Looking to the front of the mat, hop or step, feet to wrists. Inhale to a flat back, and exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, arms up high overhead into Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. We'll come into extended big toe pose, so bring the left hand to the left hip, shifting the weight onto the left foot. And bring the right knee up, either keeping it here, or you can reach for the right big toe with those two right peace fingers. And inhale, extending the right foot forward. Holding it here, keeping the knee bent or straightening, whatever's in your practice. Then slowly keeping the fingers on the toes, passing the right foot back behind you, flipping the palm around to the inside of that right foot to transition into Nadarajasana, dancer's pose. Left hand comes high, and then exhale, kicking that right foot high into the palm of the right hand. And then exhale, slowly, gently releasing the right foot back to the earth, hands at heart center. Inhale, sweeping the hands high overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And toe heeling, the feet apart, hips distance. Taking the two peace fingers and wrapping them around the two big toes to come into extended big toe pose and forward fold. Inhale, lifting the chest, and then exhale, rounding the spine, letting the head drop. Let it hang heavy here. Elbows can be bent. Shaking the head from side to side to make sure you're not holding on to any tension here. You can gently pull on those big toes for a bit of a deeper stretch. Slowly release the toes, walking the feet back together and rolling one vertebra at a time back up to Tadasana, mountain pose, hands at heart center. Bringing the right hand to the right hip, shifting our weight onto the right foot to bring the left knee up, either staying here or reaching for the left big toe, extending the left foot forward for extended big toe pose. Nice and strong on that right foot. And then slowly, keeping your balance, passing that left foot back behind you to come into dancer's pose, making sure to flip that left hand around to the inside of the left foot. Inhaling the right hand high, and exhale, bringing the left foot high, kicking it into that left palm, keeping the chest and the gaze lifted here. And then slowly coming back up to a straight spine, gracefully releasing that left foot back to the earth, hands at heart center. Inhale the hands high. Exhale, tracing them through heart center, forward fold. Again, toe heel the feet apart. And walking the hands underneath the feet to come into ape pose, Padangusthasana. Inhale to straighten the spine and lift the chest, and then exhale, let it go, rounding the back, letting the head hang. Weight is in the front of the feet for a deep hamstring stretch. And then slowly releasing the hands out from underneath the feet, walking them back together. Toes are touching. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, planting the hands to hop or step back to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Our last one of the day. So don't worry, no more chaturangas. We'll bring it down onto the mat, so step forward, crossing the feet to come into a seated position, extending the left foot straight in front of you, bringing the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, so your hips are square to the front of the mat. Inhale the hands high, and then exhale, folding over that left thigh. So feeling that deep stretch in your left hamstring. Inhale, walking the hands back and shifting the hips to a 45-degree angle so you're facing the front right corner of your mat. Inhale the right hand high and dropping your left shoulder down to the left thigh, reaching for the left toes with the right fingertips. Pulling that right shoulder back and the left shoulder forward. So you're feeling the stretch along the right side of your body. You're not dropping the chest down towards the left thigh. And then inhale, slowly releasing back up. Straightening the right leg and taking the other side, bringing the left foot into the right thigh. Inhale, chest is lifted. And exhale, folding it over the right leg, reaching for the right foot. Inhale, coming back to a straight spine, shifting the hips to face the front left corner of your mat. Inhale the left hand high, and exhale, dropping that right shoulder down. And the right hand rests lightly on the left knee. A gentle reminder to bring that right shoulder forward and the left shoulder back. Inhale, coming back to a straight spine. And bringing the right foot back to meet the left, bringing the heels in towards the groin. Inhale to a straight spine, grabbing around the outsides of the feet. And then exhale, folding forward. Feeling the opening in your hip joints here. Inhaling back up to a straight spine, extending the feet out in front of you, bending the knees, walking the feet in, to take one last Navasana boat pose. So shifting your weight back onto your sits bones, bringing the feet off the mat, trying to get your shins level to the earth, maybe even seeing if you can straighten your legs today, challenging yourself in this last pose. And then slowly, gently, using your core to release yourself down onto your mat, bringing your hands out to a capital T, walking the feet in, crossing the left leg over the right, and shifting the hips over to the left slightly to drop the knees to the right side. So making that shift in the hips allows your spine to stay straight when we take the spinal twist. Inhale the knees back to the center, unwrapping the legs, taking the right leg over the left, shifting again the hips over to the right side this time to drop the knees over to the left. And remembering to keep that right shoulder on the earth to really maximize the twist. Inhale the knees back to center. Unwrapping your legs, bringing the palms alongside your body, face up. Allowing the feet to flop outward and coming into your final Shavasana. A few deep breaths here to relax at the end of our practice today. And then on the next inhale, reaching the hands high overhead for one last deep stretch from the fingertips all the way to the toes, getting nice and long. And then keeping the eyes closed, slowly press up into a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Bringing hands to heart center, taking a moment to thank yourself for coming to the mat today. Inhale, bringing the hands to the third eye, and exhale, namaste. Thanks for joining me in Global Fusion Yoga and taking your yoga off the beaten mat. See you next time.